back to 3Ps on a Pod, where people are our passion, who lead us to our purpose. I'm Pastor Russell.
I am Emmanuel.
And we're coming to you live from the spacious, luxurious studios of Mount Zion Baptist Church in the sprawling metropolis of Jonesboro, Georgia. So welcome. We're coming back with season 5. Let me tell you a story, where we've been diving deep into the parables of Jesus and asking the same question we've always asked on this podcast. How do we apply it to our life, and how do we make it something that we live out every day? Today we have a huge blessing. We're joined by our Faith Promise missionary partner and friend, partner in ministry, Mr. Travis Sawyer. Travis, welcome.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you guys for having me.
Yes, sir. So Travis is joining us from all the way from Kenya.
Ooh.
So his experience and things that he's going to talk about today are much different than what we get to see here in the metropolis of Atlanta, Georgia, every day of the week. And so Travis is a homegrown Mount Zion guy, came from right around this area. We just learned that he is by trade is construction, which makes a lot more sense as he begins to talk about the things they do on the mission and building and doing. And so Travis, again, welcome. Thank you for being here with us. I guess just start off where we start off with a lot of guests. Just kind of give us, who's Travis Sawyer? When we meet Jesus, where does it all go from there?
So, thanks for having me.
Yes, sir.
I grew up in a small town, Robbinsville, North Carolina, and was very churched. Went to church every Sunday, thought I knew Jesus. Did not know Jesus my whole life. I was at a youth camp, actually, at the age of 14 years old, and heard an Irish soccer player preaching that night. His name was Aidan McKenzie, and just shared the gospel that night, and Christ used that in my life to completely change my heart, my mind, my will, everything there. And it was shortly after that I was baptized, and I remember very clearly sitting in my dad's living room at the age of 17 and open up the scriptures. And I was so thankful that all this happened so early. You know, a lot of missionaries start later in life. But I was 17 years old, reading through Scripture, and came to the very famous passage we all know, Matthew 28, 19 and 20. And Jesus says, "Go into all the nations." And I thought to myself, what do I want to do with the rest of my life?
Yeah.
Lord, would you have me? I'm willing to go. I don't have a house. I don't have bills. I don't have anything holding me here. Is this what you would have me do? And the answer was yes. And I remember shortly after that reading, the Great Commission is not an option. It's not an option to be considered. It's a command to be obeyed.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, that's me, Lord. And from there I went and started seeking out training from a place that I grew up. Funny enough, my dad worked at a mission training organization for 38 years.
Oh, wow.
So from 2 years old up, I grew up there.
Oh, wow.
But had never, all those years, even thought that I would be a missionary one day. Saw all these missionaries come, played with their kids, and they went. I never went on a mission trip my entire life. Never went to visit any of these people or anything like that, and knew where I wanted to be trained and got trained there. And the rest is, as we will talk about in a minute.
That's
I've
amazing.
been overseas most of my life.
That's amazing. A lot of people, when we're starting out just this Christian life in general, will say, like, I want to serve, I want to do, and we say, well, go pray, and you ask God. And a lot of times the question we get was, well, how do you know when God says yes or no? How did you know in that moment that God was definitely saying yes?
Yeah, so once again, I think it all boils down to there's two people when it comes to missions, okay? There's two kinds of people, I should say. There are goers and there are senders. And it's where God has placed you. We're all called to go in our everyday lives. That passage is sorely misused often. But that go there is as we're going throughout our daily lives. It's for all of us. I just happen to be a career overseas missionary. But we're all supposed to be doing that passage, by the way. But you're either a sender or a goer.
Yeah.
And I've always been a goer. I've always been the one willing to put it out there, lay it all at risk, even as a young man and a dumb man, a young kid. I was the guy that would do the stupid stuff, right? And I think you got people, you have to have both. You have to have goers, you have to have senders.
Yeah.
And when I read that passage, God laid it heavily on my heart. That's you. You're the goer.
I love that.
And so that's how I knew.
Yeah.
And I knew it.
I love that, and God uses like both sides of that for big things. It's funny you say that. Like I was naive; I didn't even know. So yeah, I'll go. They talk about that when you're like I've heard some pro golfers recently talking about playing in the Masters or the U.S. Open, and they're like, well, when you were a rookie, you played the best. Like he's like, I didn't know any better. Like
you weren't afraid to make mistakes.
I wasn't scarred by anything or anything like that. So yeah,
I had an old wise Christian saint that I appreciate very much to me. As he was telling me his testimony one time, and it's beautiful, it's long, I won't tell it here, but he said, I prayed a lot before I was programmed with doubt.
Oh, I love that.
And so I've always remembered that we do have a tendency to be programmed as we grow.
So that's real. Awesome. So just kind of catching up here, you ended up in Kenya, so I'm pretty sure, I know I haven't been to Kenya, so what does day-to-day look like for you as a missionary in Kenya?
So we're very busy. I mean, I'll give you my day, an average day in the life of Travis. I get up about 5:30, 5:45 in the morning, and I study for a couple hours because I pastor the church. After that, I'm usually out and about at 8 o'clock in the morning when the world's starting to open up on the mission. Okay. And I ride down on my four-wheeler, and I go to all of these different ministries that are happening. I will start at the primary school. And we have about 300 kids right now at the primary school.
That's a good number.
I walk into the office and I say, how's everybody doing today? And I can be there 5 minutes or I can be there 3 hours.
Okay.
Depending on how everybody's doing today. And then from there, I drive over to our high school. I repeat that same process, see if there's anything to be dealt with, what's going on, different things. Okay. From there, I drive over to our clinic that we have. And we'll ask the same questions, and maybe there's some sick people in there, and we try to, it's not just about treating their sickness. For me, it's about sharing Christ. Yeah. And so we try to pray with them and, be there for them spiritually as well as the pastor for sure. From there, I go back to my office, and I'm not an office person. I don't like to be in the office,
Preach.
And I go in and I ask our secretary for the mission, I'm like, how is it today? And she'll be like, go to your office. And I have this stack of applications and all this stuff. So I try to avoid the office, but I do.
I get that.
Stop by. How's it going? From there, we have the Snack Shack, which is just a cool place that a lot of people come and get cool. You can get chicken strips in the middle of nowhere, right? And it was meant for to be a cantina for the school. So there, usually there's always it's always hopping. New people are in there. And then we have a children's home. And so that takes up a lot of our time dealing with different issues inside the government, making sure the kids got the right documentation and court cases and all these things. And so we have a social worker, and we usually sit down, got a new kid come, police bring a new kid. And so one of the beautiful things, as scheduled as that sounds in my daily life, one of the beautiful things I love is it's always something different. So I try to do that. That's the normal routine of my life. But when I left Georgia almost 20 years ago, I just knew what was happening. I had work planned out for a month ahead of time. And now I find myself actually having to have a schedule. I never had a schedule. Really? And now there's so much going on. I literally have a schedule now. And so that's pretty much the day-to-day on a normal day. And then, of course, we have chapel services on Fridays with all the 600 plus kids, and we have Bible studies on Monday, women on Tuesday. We got the guys I'm teaching to pastor on Wednesday mornings.
Do you ever rest?
I get asked that a lot. And a very wise man, an old missionary, told me, Travis, you have eternity to rest. So get busy.
Travis, you are speaking my language. I mean, you can go ask anyone in my life right now in 2025, and my number one pet peeve is everyone being so tired and being like, I can't do that. And I'm like, yeah, me too. But it's like God gave us this mission, so keep moving. Like, thank you for saying that, because a lot of people get tired of hearing me say that. Physically, you showed us that in the video. We were privileged to watch that earlier. That was so awesome. I had no idea the mission was so big and so sprawling. But kind of give me like a physical description of you. We were butting up against some wild animals. You're a tribe on this side, so kind of give us a layout of the land.
Yeah, so we're on 35 acres in the Masai Mara Game Reserve. It's right outside the game reserve, but we border that, and there's no fences or anything, so the animals don't know they're not coming in our yard. So yeah, we're right there. We have hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions of tourists that come through to go in to see these animals. What you're seeing on National Geographic, that's where I
You're
live.
living it.
Oh yeah.
We've pulled out National Geographic vehicles in the mud. Okay, that's right where we live, and we have what's called a boma, a few bomas that touch us, and a boma is basically the Maasai surround their houses with briars, build a briar wall around the places they live, and you can have 3 families up to 20 families living in one boma.
Oh, wow.
And so we have a couple of those that touch the mission, but life is never dull because of the animals. We deal with the elephants breaking down our walls. We deal with the elephants draining our water. They suck 500 gallons of water out.
Oh, wow.
We deal with the hyenas taking our sheep. We deal with the baboons eating our gardens. We have lions. So,
And your goldfish.
I mean, I hear myself say this sometimes, and I'm like, you couldn't write this stuff.
No.
It's so crazy.
You
And
literally-
that's our life. So
yeah.
it's that crazy.
It's kind of wild. Yeah, you were telling us some stories earlier, and I just cannot forget the story you told us when you came in 2021, whenever that was, about the bodies that when people passed away, they would just throw them to the lions. It's like, this is wild.
That's deep.
So yeah, and so there's just like a lot that you're experiencing. I mean, you said you came from North Carolina, and so I'm from L.A., Lower Alabama, and so we've seen some country and we've seen some stuff. And man, and when you get to Kenya or Metro Atlanta, you have to be able to adapt and what the people are used to and what you're used to, and kind of that's the life of a missionary, right? You get there, you figure out the land and the people, and you say, how can I use what I have to get here? So there's a million, you can go through a lot, I'm sure, but just give me one of the powerful ways you've seen God move since you've been there. I mean, you've been there 20 years, so the stories are endless. You could do a podcast focused on all those different ways.
I really could. In fact, there's been people who've wanted to write a book about our life, and I'm like, man, I thought that was for older people, but they came and they spent some time with us, and they said we weren't prepared for this. Literally every day of your life's a chapter in a book, but we have seen, I would say, just how God has opened up the doors for the gospel there. There is so many, my head's just swimming with them, but how he saves people. And he saves people the same way here. But the change there is so night and day. We dress up nice, come to church on Sunday. You may be a believer, you may not. We all, get cologne, smell good, go eat the same restaurants. But it truly is a miracle. Salvation really is. And you see it in its raw format, how God has moved in our area. When we came there, the church was 7 people.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
It was literally 7 people. And our first furlough, it had grown to 50 people. And we came home for a full year because we had been there 4 years. I would never do that again. It's way too long to be gone.
Yeah.
Can you imagine leaving your church for 6 months?
No.
A year?
to happen.
Yeah.
And so when we came back, it was back down to 4 people.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Jeez.
And to see it now, the hunger for the gospel, because it's true change of life and everything in its rawest format. And we're up to 400 people now.
Yeah. Praise the Lord.
And so to see the Lord moving in that area, I would like to say this. I'm so encouraged by some of our ladies over there who literally have nothing. And when I say that, I mean they have nothing. And I find myself, as their pastor, the one who's supposed to be encouraging them, I find myself many times saying, what do you have to be, in myself, right? What do you have to be so happy about? And I'm like, that's your pastor talking, right?
That's real.
And these ladies will come up to you and be like, we have Jesus.
Hey.
Yeah.
And that's all they have.
Wow.
Amen.
And that's all they want. They're not jealous of wanting somebody else's stuff. It's just, we have Jesus and he's enough. And I know if I die now, I'll be with him forever. And so that's how I've seen in an overarching thing, that's how God has moved over there. And they constantly tell me, God forgive us, we were so wicked. That's what they tell me
Yeah.
as they are growing in Christ and understanding who they are. This is somebody who's never stepped a day in a classroom.
Yeah.
Never been to school, can't read, can't write, and God has changed their lives so dramatically.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing to see that.
It's that real conviction that,
Yes.
we preach about and we talk about, but in the States, many times, we just take for granted, obviously,
100%.
privilege what
Yeah.
we have. I mean, we always try to say, like, man, this room, just what we're doing, it's a huge blessing. Like, sometimes we don't want to record, we don't want to do this, we don't want to do that, but it is all, why wouldn't we? Like, we're so
right.
blessed to do it, and God is just the potential, I think, when people will feel that conviction and truly surrender is something that you can really see with your own eyes. And so,
when you're struggling to know where your next drink of water is coming from,
Yeah, that's real.
and you have to carry it on your head,
yeah,
and you're carrying the firewood on your back
Yeah.
to be able to cook your food, it's raw.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really real.
you're very much more grateful for the
Yeah.
one who provided
You
it.
live in a dung hut.
Yeah.
It's mixed with mud and dung, and that's your house.
Yeah,
No lights inside, a little hole. You have the fire inside the hut to cook your food, so it's smoky as can be. And you just come out, and it's like you don't know where your next meal is going to come from.
Yeah.
You don't know how your kids are going to go to school, but Jesus is enough. It's pretty radical for us back here.
absolutely, absolutely.
And
definitely
who's
a-
lived there for 20 years, I'm still like, thank
Definitely
you.
a cultural shock. I mean, I've never been anywhere near the Kenya,
Right.
and I'm not gonna say how I could do what Travis Orr does, but God bless them.
Yeah.
Because that's a major cultural shock. But being that it's such a giant cultural shock, how have you seen God move with that? You're from North Carolina. You're from Kenya. It's a big difference. And how have you seen God move and I guess eliminate that cultural differences that we in the States
even
kinda-
spiritual things,
Yeah,
like, 'cause
yeah.
we're, I mean,
So I tell our people all the time, to be honest with you, I was more culture shocked coming back after 4 years to America
Really?
than I was
wow.
going there. Dead serious.
Wow.
For some reason, like I said, I've always been that guy that's just ready to jump in.
yeah,
It's different, yeah, but after living there 4 years, being immersed in that, the language, people, everything, coming back here, I was shocked. I remember walking into Super Target. And I grew up. I mean, I lived, and I was just like,
What?
if we had one of these over there, life would be so much easier.
So you just left from 06 to 2010. Is that the years you're talking about? So just in
06
those
to
years.
2010, and it was a long time. It was good. We actually wanted to go back. They say, don't leave before 2 years, or you don't want to come back.
I got you.
But we did. But the cultural thing there, man, I tell people all the time, and this is what we're preaching and teaching. We're not trying to westernize that place. We're not trying to get them to be Americans. We're a Christian culture.
Definitely.
Jesus is our King. He
I love
is
it.
our leader. And so I am a Christian American. I tell them all the time, you're not a Maasai Christian. You're a Christian who happens to be a Maasai.
Yeah.
And so it's Christ who breaks down those barrier walls. There's cultural things. Not to say they're not there. And the Maasai, they're an interesting people group. They would have a book of about 500 pages with small print of different cultural things. And so just a couple of those that are weird that we wouldn't think anything about. As when you're immature and you're in the church, some of our guys, I used to be like, man, that's a cool bracelet you got on, or, oh yeah, that's cool. And then you come to find out that's ancestral worship and what it means.
Wow.
And I'm standing here watching the cows come home and they're walking between these two posts. And I'm like, okay, whatever. That's warding off evil spirits. They have to pass through the post.
Wow.
And so I'm constantly learning. I'm still learning. And I will never know all of the things over there.
Yeah.
We have some great friends. They're a beautiful, beautiful tribe.
Yeah.
Very colorful tribe, but much different than us, right? Yeah. But for me, it's the gospel. That's the only thing that breaks down those cultural walls.
Right.
And so, culturally speaking, we've not struggled a lot there, believe it or not, because of why we're there. Not having conveniences is where we've struggled.
Yeah.
There's not a Home Depot across the street.
Yeah.
Makes sense, yeah.
Getting things, stuff like that was where we struggled and where we were not used to that.
Got you.
Yeah.
Right on.
Our first 6 months in Kenya, we were in the deserts of the north. You would send an email on a sat phone.
Oh wow.
150
Okay,
KB,
Yeah.
150
Wow.
kilobytes, and you would only click it once because it was $3.
Oh.
And you would wait a couple of days to click, send and receive again.
Yeah.
And so we're thankful to the Lord that we came in on the tail end of what the old missionaries had to live like.
Yeah.
We used to spend in a cyber cafe to call home 20 cents a minute on a phone. And so shortly after that, technology started coming in, and now we have faster internet. Than
you said it in
in the last 8 years, it's just in East Africa. I think Kenya is the one that's leading the way in technology.
Really? Wow.
So from 20 years ago to 8 years ago, it's just boomed.
Yeah. Amazing.
And so but it's gotten easier that way, but we're still so far away from things.
Now, do I remember correctly when you were here in 2021, part of the spiritual battles where there was even witch doctors and stuff like that? And so you were kind of going not against, but that was what people had grown up around and were familiar with. So
yeah, very much true. I remember our first men that the Lord saved over there. The witch doctor sent his son to see what was going on. We were digging sand out of a river for building. And I was sharing the gospel with two of my guys, and the Lord saved them. And the witch doctor's son was sitting there listening and going and reporting back, I guess, to his dad. And we have women who have been witch doctors over there. We had one of our ladies, she was known as kind of that witch doctor lady in our community. She was standing over one of our church ladies one time. We had to tell her son had passed away. And the lady was crying on the ground. And this lady, they came running from the community. They heard her crying. And she's standing over her, screaming in her face, "Where's your God now?" And I was shocked at all this. And later on, the Lord saved her.
Wow.
And I did her funeral. It was a great funeral to do because the Lord saved her. And
full circle for real.
So yeah, we have battled that. You can't cry in the Maasai culture.
Oh.
And so when a woman would lose a newborn, if she would shed a tear, then they would come and they would beat her as she's laying her baby in the grave, this little shallow grave, because you're not allowed to cry. You're not a real Maasai if you're crying. And so we've seen that change through the years, because I used to say, how can God wipe away every tear if there isn't a tear to wipe away?
Oh yeah.
And so that stuff like that, thankfully, the gospel has changed.
Yeah.
But cultural stuff like that was unique to us.
Definitely.
You know, we don't see a mama getting beat because she's crying while she's holding her dead baby.
Yeah. But you keep
like that.
And I think in the moment you're like, okay, God,
you better be moving.
You told me to go.
Yes. Like I will never forget that specific little baby's funeral that I'm talking about. It was a funeral. They laid her in a little ditch, 18 inches deep. There was different bushes in the bottom of it, turned different ways, and as the mama's laying the baby down, the guys, the cultural wise men, were in the background grunting and hollering at her so she could turn the baby the certain way. And I was like, man, this was weird for me.
Yeah.
And I was turned away from the grave, from the little hole, and I was talking to somebody, and the guy says, "They're ready for you." And I said, "We're ready for me to do what?" And I turned around, and everybody, like 300 people, was ready for me, I guess, to do the funeral. So I was like, whoa, I didn't even know I was speaking. So I went from Adam to Christ and why we die and sin. And I remember this was culturally weird for me. The guy stood up when I was done, and all of them spit on the ground and walked away. And I was like, oh, same to you. You know, that's what I was thinking. And one of the guys was like, no, that's a blessing. They agree with what you said.
Oh, wow.
So you spit on things. My third born, when she was first brought back to the church, you know, mamas don't bring their babies back to the church. Laura brings Savannah back to church. One of our dear old precious ladies, a saint, who's going to be with the Lord now, took the blanket back and was looking at her and spit.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, that was shocking for everybody. Yeah.
No doubt.
That was a blessing.
Yeah, definitely.
Sure.
We have some young people here, and you know, you said the Matthew 28, go therefore and make disciples. I think of the one where it says, blessed are the feet who bring the good news. If there was someone out there listening to us right now and we're thinking, God, am I to go on a mission field? Are you speaking to my heart? What kind of advice would you give that soul that's searching?
Okay, I'm going to say something that's not popular.
I love
probably contrary to most people. Not everybody should go to the mission field.
Yeah.
On a foreign mission field.
Yeah.
And
That's real.
We've dealt with many missionaries through the years that come, that go, that were not prepared, that should not have been there. It starts at your church. I would say to them, as I've said to everybody where I get a chance to speak, there's nothing magical that happens when you go to Atlanta, Hartsville, get on a plane and cross the big ocean. If you are not doing it here, I promise you, you're not going to do it there. Where you're not in your culture, you're not speaking the same languages. You need to be doing it here, and your church needs to affirm that.
Yeah.
And there are expectations that are expected of you. For sure, in a third world country, they're a little less in a second world country. They're there, but not as much in a first world country. So I think anyone that needs to, or feels the Lord that is calling them into missions, I feel they need to talk to some seasoned missionaries.
Yeah.
And really, the seasoned missionaries, that if there are any of them listening to this, don't flower this up.
Yeah.
There's times in churches, I told you guys this morning, 75% of my life don't make a newsletter because it's awful. Now, it would make a good horror story in a book, but it don't make that. And I've always tried to be very open and real with a missionary, somebody that thinks they want to be a missionary, and tell them, listen, this is the real deal. And I think the seasoned guys, the ladies, they need to be honest with them. They need to know what they're getting themselves into and the expectations. It's not, guys, I'm going to shoot it straight. Being a missionary is not sitting under a tree having a Bible study.
Right.
This is the things we think of, and this is why I struggle to get a full service at a church, because a lot of missionaries, some of them are doing that, and that's it.
Yeah.
And in a third world country, there's real needs, and you're seen as the guy that's going to meet those physical needs as well.
Yeah.
And so you need to, if you're doing that, maybe you're unskilled, maybe you don't have a skill set like that. You need to find a mission station or a missionary family that does have those skills, and you need to put yourself with them. I think you need to be under a veteran missionary on the field, cause yourself a lot less heartache, headache. But your church, it starts at the church, just like we read this morning in Acts 13. The church, through the Holy Spirit, set them apart. And it needs to be confirmed and affirmed in the local church.
I like what you led with, because I think that is a fact. So many people, and I've only been pastoring since 2011 and the lead pastor for 4 years, but so many people will hear your testimony, or they'll want to go to anywhere overseas, and like, I want to go there and do, and you're like, but you could just walk across the street, or you could go join me at a Fellowship of Christian Athletes meeting at the school, or you can go here to pray with these commissioners with me. And if you're not doing that, then I don't know if I can vouch for you to go to Kenya or wherever.
I mean, my first question as a pastor for you, to anybody who wants to be a missionary, okay, this is really out there. You ready? What's your neighbor's name?
There
Ask
you
them
go.
that.
Oh, I love that.
If you don't know your neighbor's
That's
name,
real,
man, what are you doing?
Oh man, see, so I'm glad that you're saying this after I'm glad you're saying this after I got hired, because I know my neighbor on my right's name, but I just learned calling me out. I just learned my neighbor on the left's name. They're gonna just judge me. You're gonna think, how are you a pastor?
How long you been living there?
I've been there since Olivia was born. We don't need to go there, Emmanuel.
Oh my goodness.
But okay, I'll paraphrase it by saying this: she's not that nice.
Okay.
But she is at the nursing home where my wife works. And when she went there, my wife said, "Oh, I recognize this name. Oh, you're my neighbor." And I was like, "What's her name?"
Oh boy.
And she told me. But I feel you, Travis.
No,
That is
real.
like, I love that question. Yeah, what's your neighbor's name? I thought you were about to say, "Tell me the last person you shared Christ with," because I would love to know that too. Like, if you're gonna go do this thing for Christ, and you should be. Yeah. So that's a really cool thing to think about.
That would be the second question.
Yeah.
Are you even a people person to know your neighbor? And secondly, do you even know how to share the gospel?
Yeah.
What is that? I mean, these are things that would save us a lot of heartache and a lot of headache overseas. If it seems to me that, and I've been told this by pastors, we have these young people who are just excited, they're on fire for the Lord, and that all looks differently in different settings. What does that mean to you? And so we didn't know what to do with them. So we sent them overseas. And I'm like,
thank you.
Why would you do that to all of us?
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't just send us anyone.
Yeah.
And I have always said the church should be willing to send their best.
Absolutely.
It should hurt you. It should hurt you. These are the people who are in your church doing these things, and you want your church to be an extended overseas.
Yeah.
What you're doing here.
Right.
send us your best, man.
Yeah.
Send us someone who knows the scripture and knows the gospel.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's true.
It's amazing. So God is through Straight Up Ministries, and you and Laura and your numerous daughters. Congratulations on the wedding and the upcoming wedding. By the way, I saw the pictures. You're right. It was a wild Kenyan wedding. We're very diverse here, so we do have a Kenyan family here. We're a couple, but we've done birthday parties and anniversaries, and man, it's all out, and we are having a great time. So I feel you. It was very cool. But what's next? Like we seen on the video, we saw medical places that were way bigger than I thought they were going to be. We saw counseling. We saw high schools. We saw the snack shack, which I thought was amazing. You're in the middle of the bush in Kenya, and you can go get a milkshake, French fries, and chicken tenders. That's wild. And God is using that. You showed us where you have dug the water wells. You showed us where you've built the high school, and there's a new vision that's coming. And you shared a little bit, but please share about the next thing.
Well, first off, with the snack shack, that has not helped my weight loss. So I had to cut myself back to once a week a milkshake.
There you go.
But yeah, there's always something to do over there. It's basically us setting and seeing what is the need. Yeah. How can we reach more people for Christ? What will give us the opportunity to have more people's ears to be able to share Jesus with them?
Yeah.
And so nothing we've done there has not been sat down and calculated very well in that regard. But we're at a point now through Kweli Ministry, which is an online ministry, that we're being asked to plant churches in places. And I'm not one of these guys. There was a missionary the other day when we were leaving Kenya that I know that said he planted 70 churches in the last 7 years. And I said, how's that possible? Where'd you find 70 men to preach?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm trying to just get one church established.
Definitely.
And I said, you've probably spread false teaching across this nation is what you've done. And so what we're hoping to do is start Mara Bible and Technical Institute. And we're wanting just a few families, not wanting it to be huge. It's not about money. We're not going to be charging them. It's going to be free of charge, which means that we're going to depend on people giving to it to make it work. But we don't want to be of charge to them. That way, if it's a man that's not of character, or that we do find out he's living in sin, we can say, this is not for you.
Yeah.
You haven't paid us. Sorry, brother. But we're looking for good, qualified men who want to know the scriptures, who want to live them out and be men of character.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times seminaries, and this is what I've come across, we can invest the theological knowledge into someone for 4 years, 3 years, whatever that is these days, but we don't know the character of that man, which is just as important, living this out.
Absolutely.
And so we're going to bring them on, going to do 47 weeks with them. We think that that's enough to be able to invest in them what they need to know, plant a church, and obviously we'll continue walking with them. After that, they're going to get about 740 hours of Bible in that, but we're going to give them some skill sets, welding, electrical, plumbing, water systems, mechanics. We're going to be doing women's training, so the women can know what their part in all of this is, because most of them are just left out. Yeah. And in that 47 weeks, if we find some solid guys and solid families, we'll probably invite them to stay on to the mission another year and be with them that next year, really getting to know them, and hopefully be able to go out to one of these places that's begging for us to come and help them, be with them, build that church, plant that church, and we'll still be walking with them. Still be walking with them. And so, honestly, if we can plant 2 churches, man, that's a success.
Amen.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's teaching the truth of God's word.
Yeah.
Definitely. It sounds like you got a lot of things going. I'm excited. I don't know if anybody else is in the room is excited. Just from the PowerPoint or the video you showed us, I was hoping that basketball court was going to be shown at the very end.
I wish.
But
maybe that's our first trip there.
Hey, I'm all for it. But first and foremost, I know we are all thankful for you sharing your story, sharing why you came, why you're on missions. But obviously, the question for most missionaries: how can the churches and other individuals help you? Not just monetarily, but how can personalize it? How can Emmanuel help Tom and his family?
Travis.
Travis.
Tom Sawyer. You know Tom Sawyer.
I'm saying Tom. You're right. I've been saying Tom the entire.
If you call
I'm so sorry.
You know, man, when people say, "What's your name?" Well, Sawyer. Oh, like Tom. Yeah, just remember Tom.
Yeah, just say Travis though.
Travis. I got you. My bad. Travis is his name.
We can edit. We can edit.
That's a great question, because a lot of churches do just throw money at you. And
Yeah.
which, hey, you guys saw it takes a lot of money to do what we do over there. We're thankful for that. But at the same time, have a relationship. Hold missionaries accountable. That would be huge, and then we wouldn't have the failure rate in missions that's so high right now. We had 400 families leave in the last 5 years.
Oh, wow.
That country.
Wow.
Like,
Where are they going,
there's-
Travis?
Yeah,
where are they
where they
going?
go?
Coming back to the States.
Oh, okay.
Like, there is empty ministries setting all over our country.
Right.
I'm getting calls from different areas in our country asking us to come and please revive this ministry or that. And I'm like, I don't have people.
Yeah.
And so getting to know your missionary, it's not just a prayer card and a birthday and pray for them on their birthday kind of thing that we've all grown up. That's not
Yeah.
good. Write them, encourage them, ask them questions. Come see them. Come and physically put eyes on what's going on and what your church is being a part of. That can be more encouraging than sending money sometimes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And so just being there, having that relationship, having a relationship. We need money, but we need relationships.
Definitely.
And when you know that person, you can pray for them differently than just, oh, there's Travis's picture on the wall. When you
Yeah.
have a personal relationship with them, you pray differently for them.
I mean,
so
it's-
that's huge.
That's
That's
the
real.
call, right? Just
Yeah.
in Christianity in general, like
Yes.
missionaries extended, but I should know when you hurt and know when you're happy, and we celebrate together and we
Exactly.
mourn together. And it's
Exactly.
like, man, if we're not doing that, then we're missing like one of the key essentials to the church. And so, yeah, it's huge on the heart of people here at Mount Zion. So us that are here, we do support. We have for many, many years, and it's awesome. We would love to. I'm sure you get the response you got this morning, and when you get done sharing all that, everyone was just coming to you going, I want to go to Kenya.
Yeah.
I want to go to Kenya.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait,
Yeah.
dude.
Wait a minute.
Yeah. And
Well,
so it sparks that thing.
Well, I'll tell you, we love that.
Yeah.
And that has happened to us every furlough we've ever come. Everybody's excited. They want to come. And we're not as worried about it anymore because nobody ever comes.
Hell yeah.
That's real.
From anywhere.
That's
From anywhere.
true. Ouch.
So
Yeah.
I'm just like, hey, that'd be great. Yeah.
We'll never see you.
And yeah, I'll see you in
make
2
it.
years. You know?
When I come back here.
Yeah, when you furlough again.
But listen, for me, I think it's great. People who give you money, their church gives you money. They come and they see. We had
Yeah.
a church years ago. Listen, it is true that for the amount of money you'll spend to get on a plane and come over there, we could probably build a building. Okay. We had a church contact us years ago, and they said, we have $3,000 we'd like to give you. Where would you like it to go? I said, can you buy one of the elders in your church a plane ticket and send him over here? And they were shocked. And they're like, are you sure? I said, yes, please. And they did that. 2 of them came and spent 10 days with us. And when they left there, that church has been on fire and behind us more than they've ever been. Because now they've literally physically touched, smelled, seen. They know people's names that I'm talking about in these things. And so was that worth the $3,000?
No
Over
doubt.
and over
Yeah,
again.
absolutely.
And so there is a value in that is irreplaceable.
What are the you can just share with everyone on the podcast here, but give me the links, the sites they would go to. How can we
help?
How can we how can they send, because that may never walk through our church. How can
Right,
they?
so it's very easy. We've tried to make, as you want people to give and need it to be easy. But we have straightupmissions.com, and you can go to the donate on there. You can scroll through there and see all the different things and missionaries and all that. But if you want to give, you go to straightupmissions.com and you click on donate, and we've tried to make it very easy for people to give in any way they can. PayPal, set up monthly. You can even give crypto, or you can give stock, or and so we've tried to make that for all of our missionaries. It's not just me. We have several other missionaries under Straight Up Missions. I just happen to be the guy who founded it.
Yeah.
I'm the president of Straight Up Missions,
Gotcha,
and I
okay.
say I'm just not sitting in an office behind a desk in America. I'm actually a missionary.
There you go. Okay.
So I'm on the phone with people's pastors all over the world
Yeah.
for them. We have people in Romania, France, Haiti. We got places we can't name that we have missionaries. And so we've tried to make it very easy. We take none of your money that you give. We want all of the money, 100%, to go to the missionary and the projects and the gospel. And we're just there to help the church. We're not there to take over the place of the church. But in many countries, like Kenya being one of them, the officials don't want to deal with you and that guy's pastor and that guy. They want to deal with an organization.
Yeah.
But it's very easy. StraightUpMissions.com. You go on there. if you have any questions, you can always go to Travis Sawyer on Facebook.
Yeah.
Message me.
Just make sure it's the right one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Travis
make sure it's the
Sawyer.
right Travis Sawyer, or you will be emailing or talking to some guy in Arizona and Nigeria.
A Nigerian
That's
king
where-
somewhere
where I
looking to
found-
try to deposit their
Which,
lottery
by the way,
winnings.
I love talking to those guys. I call them when I get a number, I call them back because I live in Africa. And I know kind of how they think, and I've been on the phone with them for 30 minutes before, and finally got the guy to admit he's terrible and he needs Jesus. And
Wow.
so I enjoy doing that. Okay, so
Cold
don't hang
calling
up
you-
on him if you want to be a missionary.
Cold
Cold
calling
call for
you
real.
might result in salvation.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's what I hope.
That's amazing.
But
Thank
yeah,
you.
as far as that goes, giving, you can write a check as well, and mail it to the PO box, which is on the website. It's PO Box 460, Robbinsville, North Carolina 28771.
Wonderful.
There are people who still do that, and we appreciate it. But I love when people message me.
Yeah.
As busy as we are, it's personal. When
Yeah.
somebody messages me and says, "Hey, my family and I'd like to support you." Man, I love connecting with people that way.
Yeah,
back
it's
here.
amazing. Well, thank you for all you do. Thank you
Thank
for
you, guys.
answering the call 20 years ago. Thank you for, showing your family what it looks like. And like you said, you thought your son-in-laws were going to come from the States, and now they're all coming from Kenya, and it's a whole different ballpark now. So you never know what God's doing. If you're out there thinking that God can't use you, here's a simple guy from North Carolina. Here's a simple guy from Lower Alabama, and a very simple guy from Riverdale, Georgia, and just using us for immaculate things. And so God wants to use you. If you're a member of Mount Zion, you can always just give to Faith Promise and write down Travis and Laura Sawyer, and it will go directly to them. We love supporting them. It was just crazy to me that he was in my Sunday school class when I joined Mount Zion.
just telling
Didn't
that.
even know it until I saw an old picture. Heather was like, "Yeah, they were in our class," and I was like, "You sure?" And she shows me a picture, and definitely I'm right there, and definitely he's right there. And they're like, "Yeah, they left the next year," and I'm like, "Wow, this is why my wife remembers the story." Laura was pregnant. Tracy Drake was pregnant.
Oh,
Someone
everyone's
else was
pregnant,
pregnant.
too.
And Heather said immediately, we got pregnant. So she was like, what's in that water at Mount Zion? Like, what's happening over
You
there?
know, Laura was on the softball team for Mount Zion.
Oh, okay. Awesome. I
she
did
even
not know.
played,
Yeah,
yeah.
and we were pretty good. I'm telling you, man. I wasn't fully invested. Now I'm more invested. I know my people. Travis, thank you so much.
Thank you so
Emmanuel,
much.
thank you so much. Very good. Like, share, subscribe. Please share this message with anyone you can. Tag Straight Up Missions. Tag Travis Sawyer. We want it to get out there to as many people as possible to support this mission. Keep doing your thing, man. We're proud of you. Jesus is blessing your ministry, and we're just grateful to be a part of
Thank
it.
you, guys.
Yes, sir.
Stay faithful.
Until we get together again, stay prayed up.
3 P's on a pod. We should be worshiping